Good morning, friends. I join Professor Srikanth in once again welcoming all of you in this half-day training program, orientation program on DISE data capture format, which is being organized by the National University of Education Planning and Administration. Well, friends, as you know, this program is being organized for the last 5 years. And it has helped us a lot in improving the quality, consistency, coverage, utilization, dissemination and sharing of DISE data. Perhaps you must be knowing that exactly a week back we have organized similar program for our friends from the Hindi belt of our country. As has already been informed by my colleague, with me on DISE is Dr. Srikanth, my colleague. On left hand side is Mr. Naveen Bhatia, on right hand side Sri Shailendra Sharma and Sri Rajiv Mehta, who represents the Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan program in the technical support group of the Ministry of Human Resource Development. I feel it is in fact very important program, and this program is being watched across the country in 662 districts across something around 7,000 blocks and 70,000 cluster resource centers of our country. The school headmasters, the school principals, the head teacher, the CRC and BRC coordinators, the MIS coordinators at the district and the state level, and also at the block level, as well as the computer programmers, the data entry operators, they all are participating in this half-day training program. As I already said, through this today's program, it will help us further in improving our coverage. We have already been reached to 1.5 million institutions imparting school level across the 662 districts of our country. It will also help us in further improving the quality of our data, which has already been improved to a very significant effect. It will also help us in further improving the utilization and dissemination of our data, as well as the sharing of our data. Well, friends, because of your very hard work during the last so many years, your program, District Information System for Education or Unified DISE, is recognized at the national and also at the international levels. Your program and you are the recipients of the 4 national awards which is given to DISE. The actual winner of these programs are none less than you, those who are sitting in all the 662 districts, and my headmasters, principals, head teachers, CRC and BRC coordinators, MIS coordinators both at the state and the national level, and also my colleagues at the national level. Well, friends, we have been awarded, it's very good, but at the same time, we are now made more responsible so as to ensure that complete coverage of all the schools imparting school education is covered under DISE during the year 2013-14, the date of reference of which is 30th September 2013. Very soon, across the country, we are going to observe DISE fortnight or DISE week, during which the entire data collection under the Unified DISE 2013-14 across the country, the data will be collected. In one go, you are requested to kindly ensure that all our data capture formats reach to all the schools imparting school education, irrespective of the school category, school management, school type, or whether they are located in the rural area or urban area. More details I will give you a bit later when I discuss with you the coverage. Well friends, because of your efforts only, as you know much more than us, that the management information system units have been established across the country, in all the 662 districts and in many states. At the block level even, the MIS units have already been established. Because of your very active participation, active support to the DISE movement, the time lag in data collection and data dissemination, it has come down to less than a year at the national level and only a few months at the state and the district level. The credit goes to you only. Through your efforts, we have ensured that let there be no data gaps. Data should be available on all the aspects on which it is required for formulation of the elementary education plans as well as district plans under the Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan program. The credit goes to you only, friends, and I am quite confident that you will continue to support DISE movement as you have been doing in the last so many years. I do not have any doubt about that, and I am quite confident that you will continue to contribute towards the strengthening of educational management information system in the year 2013-14 also. Well friends, I take this opportunity and share with you many points of consideration. There are many areas of further improvement. You know better than us all these points. Again and time and again we used to discuss all these points with you, and I will take this opportunity today also to discuss some of these issues which will further help us in improving the quality and coverage of our data. Today, as you know, we are going to discuss data capture format in detail. You know, the data capture format is available at www.dise.in. Many of our friends have already been downloaded the data capture format from our website DISE.in. But friends, as you know, as was the case in the previous year, this year also it has been decided that all the 35 states of our country are going to print the data capture format from the software itself. Software is also available at www.dise.in/udise.html. I will request you to kindly visit DISE.in often so as to download the latest pages of the software and the other important information relevant to the management and organization of the District Information System for Education 2013-14, the date of reference of which, as you all know, is 30th September 2013. As you might have already noticed, there is slight changes in the data capture format which we are going to use this year. You will happy to know that a few of the existing variables, those were available in the year 2012-13, is now taken off, removed from the data capture format of the year 2013-14. A few of the existing variables have been modified. I will not go into the details of the data capture format because my colleague Sri Naveen Bhatia is going to take you one by one all the variables which are placed in the data capture format 13-14. But here I would like to mention that this year onwards we are going to collect enrollment by groups of other minorities other than Muslim minority. We have been collecting Muslim minority enrollment for the last 5 years, and now there is requirement that such information is also collected for the remaining or the other group of minorities. So that is the major change. Well friends, as you all know, my colleague has already been specified that we will be having a question answer session also from 12:45 to 1:15 p.m. During this, you can ask the question from your IGNU studios, or even you can also raise the questions, ask the question through SMS. Our numbers, I would like to repeat, is that 9013454170, and the another number is 9911648494. In addition to these two mobile numbers, the toll-free number will also be flashed, is already been flashed in your screen. You can send the questions right now or later on, anytime during the conduct of this particular program. I am really very much impressed in seeing your reference during the last program on 6th September, during which you have raised a large number of questions from across the country. We will try to cover many of these points in our presentation this year, but apart all, you are requested to please send your questions anytime during the conduct of this program. I now come to a points which have got very significance for all of us, those who are involved in Unified DISE, maybe our friends from Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan program, or maybe our friends from Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan program, or maybe our friends those who were involved in DISE earlier, or SAMIS earlier, or now Unified DISE, all can play a very important role so far as the coverage is concerned. As you all know, for the first time in the history of DISE, we extended coverage to secondary and higher secondary level of education during the year 2012-13 data collection. With your active participation, with active help of all the officers, those who are involved in Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan program or Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan program across the country in 662 districts, only because of your active participation, we could manage to collect information none less than 1.5 million schools imparting school education across the country. These 1.5 million schools include not only the recognized schools, but also 27,000 unrecognized schools, something around 11,000 madrasas. But friends, even after reaching 1.5 million schools, we are not sure how many schools are yet to be covered under DISE. For that particular purpose, I will take this opportunity and request all my friends sitting across the country to kindly correct the information about the schools which are yet to be covered under the DISE. At the lowest level, our CRC and BRC coordinators, they prepare a list of schools which are yet to be covered under the DISE. The name of the school, the management of the school, category of the school, and the school is located in which block or a cluster. If this information can be collected and provided to the MIS in charge at the district or the block level, definitely, as I already said, that the data capture format is to be printed from the software. Before we print the data capture format from the software, if this information about the schools which are yet to be covered is collected and provided to the MIS in charge, definitely all these schools will be initialized, and when we print the data capture format from the software, the blank data capture format will also be printed of these schools which are yet to be provided, which are yet to be covered. As you know, we have now about 15-page data capture format. But when we print the data capture format from the software, the entire 15 pages will not reach to all the schools. Depending upon the school category, the data capture format will be printed from the software for primary only school, or primary plus upper primary schools, or primary plus upper primary plus secondary and higher secondary schools, or only primary schools, or only upper primary school, or only upper primary plus secondary and higher secondary schools, depending upon the category of the school, the data capture format will be printed. Well friends, it is for all of us to ensure that we make all the efforts to reach all the uncovered schools, and we focus more and more on these schools which are yet to be covered, and we give more focus also on unrecognized schools, madrasas, both recognized as well as unrecognized madrasas. Well friends, all we know that because of your efforts we could reach to 1.5 million schools. Generally it is said that DISE do not represent private institutions. But the data which you have supplied to us reveals that we have already reached more than 300,000 schools. More than 3 lakh schools we have already reached, which includes both private aided and private unaided institutions. At the one hand, majority of government schools and private schools have already been covered under the DISE, but on the other hand, there are a few schools which are yet to be covered under the DISE. These schools may be the Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan schools, Navodaya Vidyalaya Sangathan schools, the Tibetan schools, the Sainik schools, the military schools, the project schools at the one hand, and on the other hand, a few of the private unaided schools, the unrecognized schools, madrasas are yet to be covered. Let us make very honest effort this year so as to further ensure that all the remaining schools are also covered under DISE 2013-14. As I already said, across the country we are going to observe DISE data capture format DISE fortnight or a week. The detailed program will be chalked out by all my colleagues in the 35 states and will be communicated to all the 662 districts. A detailed timetable of the activities for the DISE 13-14 will be communicated to you if it has not already been communicated to you. Kindly do visit us also at DISE.in for latest information on DISE 2013-14. Let us have a special drive so as to ensure that all the remaining schools are covered during the year 2013-14. We are also trying our level best to get the letters issued from our chairmen of the schools which I have just now mentioned. These letters, like the previous year, will also be available at DISE.in. As I already said, DISE data capture format is to be printed from the software itself. And many of my state colleagues and the district colleagues and also a few places at the block level, they have already started printing of the data capture format 2013-14. Well friends, the first very important aspect of the whole exercise is that we have to ensure that the data capture format is to be printed by the software and it should reach all the schools imparting school education in our country. The schools which are already covered under DISE 2012-13 plus the schools which are not yet covered under DISE but the information of such schools have already been covered is collected. The data capture format will also be printed. We have to ensure that all these formats reach to our school headmasters, school head teachers, principals who are our respondents. Our respondents have played a very important role so far as the quality of data is concerned. But the type of questions, the number of questions, the variety of questions which we have received during the previous program on 6th of September, they all suggest that much more such type of orientation programs are very much needed, and I am quite confident that my friends at the state level, both SSA as well as Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan officers at the state level, district level, block level, they will organize such type of data orientation program on data capture format across the country in a very soon. But before 30 September, which is the record date or the date on which we are going to launch 2013-14 data collection. That is one important activity which is going to happen. Well friends, I now presume that the data capture format have been reached to our schools. Through our CRC, BRC, they have reached to our headmasters, principals, head teachers, those who are our respondents. The first important consideration here is that when we print the data capture format from the software, all the constant information which is not supposed to be changed will be displayed, will be printed in the data capture format, like the school name, school 11-digit identification code, school category, school type, school management, when was the school established. Such type of variables are constant and they are not supposed to be changed every year. But when the format, the printed formats reach you, you please ensure that the printed information is also to be checked by you. Our tendency generally is that the columns which are blank, they get our attention only. But we have to make an earnest effort this year to ensure that even the printed information is also checked thoroughly. That is a request from all of our colleagues, those who are respondents in 1.5 million institutions imparting school education in our country across 662 districts. Well friends, I take this opportunity and also request you to please fill up the information only based upon the records which are available in the school. Generally we do not refer any record, and based upon the understanding of the settings in the school, we fill up the data capture format. I take this opportunity and request all our respondents, 1.5 million respondents, to please ensure that refer school records, attendance registers, midday meal records, income and expenditure records, and many other records which are available, which will help us in filling up the data capture format 2013-14. This is a request from all my friends. That is the first important consideration. Now I presume that the data capture format has been supplied to you, provided to you. You have filled up the forms, and it is the responsibility of the CRC and BRC coordinator to ensure that the forms reach you. Once you have filled in the forms, they will reach back to first at the CRC level. The states are requested to please issue official guidelines to ensure that the CRC coordinators are responsible for distribution and collection of the filled-in formats. Once the formats reach back to schools, from the schools at the CRC level, our CRC coordinators will ensure that each and every column of all the schools falling under his or her jurisdiction, maybe 20 to 25 schools, the filled-in data capture formats are thoroughly, completely checked in all aspects. Let there be no responses, and the information which is filled in by school headmaster is true to the extent possible and based on the school records maintained by the school. I mean to say that all the forms, 100% forms are to be checked at the cluster resource center coordinators level. Thereafter only, if there is any point which needs the attention of the school headmaster or the principal or the respondent, you may like to approach them back. But we are not supposed to alter the information which is provided by our respondents. Please do not alter at your end. Next to the CRC level is the block level. At the block level, again 20% forms, 20% of the filled-in formats are to be checked by the BRC coordinators, and here, my friends, both for RMSA as well as SSA can play a very important role. Without your active participation role, contribution, the quality of data cannot be improved. So at the block level again, the BRC coordinators will ensure that 20% of the filled in formats which they receive from the CRC coordinators are thoroughly checked. Each and every column is to be checked. Then the forms may reach to either the BRC level if the data entry is taking place at that level, or at the district level if the data entry is taking place at that level. But before that, I would also like to inform you here that from the year 2013-14 we are going to provide you semi-online software through which you will be able to monitor the progress of the filling up of the data capture format or the entire management and organization of the DISE 2013-14. I will not go into the details because today we are focusing more on the data capture format. If the data entry is taking place at the block level or at the district level, I will request my RMSA coordinators, MIS coordinators and officers, those who are involved in RMSA, to also present in the office of the Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan program where the data entry is going to be arranged like last year, to make available themselves and contribute significantly, not only in distributing the forms, not only in checking the forms, but also at the time of the data entry. That will also help us in avoiding common errors which may be because of the data entry or like that one. Now I presume that the data has already been entered into the computer either at the block level or at the district level. The most important task of our MIS officers, those who are involved in DISE, maybe they are from RMSA or Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan program, the next activity would be to run the inconsistency module which has been provided in the unified DISE software. Without any failure, all my colleagues in the block level, at the block level or in the 662 district level, they will ensure that they run the inconsistency module provided in the UDISE. Keep watching DISE.in for updates on the software also. When we run the inconsistency module in the software, if our data is not consistent, you will see that your computer screen is full of stars. We have to ensure that let there be no star on our screen. Then only the quality of our data would be the 5-star. So kindly, like the previous year, we have to ensure that 2013-14 data is without any star, then only our data would be of the 5-star quality. You have been making all efforts in improving the quality and consistency of our data, which is very well reflected in the quality of our data. But there are, yes, few areas of concern. We are aware about all these concerns. We are trying our level best to further improve the quality of our data. But you will agree with us that quality of data cannot improve in one go. It is a continuing process. It will take its own time. And we are aware about all these areas of concern. We are trying our level best further to improve the quality of our data. And I am quite confident, quite sure that with your active participation, cooperation, help, we are going to further improve the data. Well friends, when you have already entered the data, you have run the consistency module. To extent possible, data is free from the errors. Now, you have to print the data capture format or the school report card from the software itself. With the data which you have just now provided and which has already been keyed in the software, so you have to print from the software the school report cards, and through the same channel, BRC, CRC, these school report cards should reach back to the school. And you are requested then to please check again, is there any error in the data entry or not. You just encircle with a red ink where there is any problem or